Hi, I'm Kylie, just another Army vet. Welcome to another reaction video. So today is my part 4 and final reaction to the Beer Biceps podcast with Colonel Rajeev. Let's get to it.
Life was meaningless. I've seen people chopping off people's head and playing with an leg, making football out of people's head. You search on the internet also, you'll find a lot of people keeping head on there,
So the idea of playing with human heads for sport is not a new concept. This has been going on for thousands of years. I think the ancient Aztecs or Mayans, they used to play a game called Pac-a-Talk, I think, and it was a combination of soccer and football. And they would actually have a rubber ball that they would try to get into a hoop at the end of a courtyard. But sometimes they would actually play with human heads.
Weapons and playing football with that.
This was in Sudan?
In Sudan, you search places like Darfur, Abai and all that. It's a madhouse. Although Darfur was out of our area of responsibility, but there have been mad places, It's real bad.
Why that level of barbarianism? Like, why that much?
Firstly, there is no political stability. There is nothing in a structured manner. And you have got weapons, but no food. And necessity is, again, you can go to an extent. I said, for one glass of water, you can go to an extent. So power corrupts, and last line is absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And no police. You can do whatever you want.
Nothing. They are the police. They are the rule. They are the government. They are the hierarchy. They are the military. They are everything. I've seen a situation. First, I saw some movie. I think Rwanda. Hotel Rwanda is the movie, if I remember correctly. That is a movie, and one more movie where I've seen UN troops on what kind of pressure and situation they've handled. And the night, somebody is driving, and all of a sudden he had a bumpy ride. One realizes, and then later on he realizes it's not some speed breaker, it has a dead body over which he is flying the vehicle. There was one situation while in Abai I have seen, people started firing berserk in market area. And there was a pregnant lady, and somebody reported something like this has happened. So we took one small mechanized tank with us. We went outside, got that lady, retreat from there. People are firing overhead. Nonsense. Absolute utter nonsense. Fun. I don't know what pleasure they get, but life was meaningless. I realized a lot of things. We got that lady, and then there was a situation when I saw a lot of people, they were running around in the fields and leaving their every stuff. Kids were running behind them. And then I saw another vehicle coming up. They are hanging children upside down, speaking something in the local language. I didn't know what they were speaking, but what I could matter was probably they are giving warning, either you come outside or we'll take care of these kids. So crying, people with folded hand, they're coming, leave them. And people are having fancy ideas. Something like this has happened. So I went to the gate. There was a situation where one guy with one leg amputated, he came to the gate and people said, gate not to be open, this is the order. This is what exactly I saw in the movie as well. And every organization has its own rule. So I said, my bloody hell with the orders here. And I've been here with a purpose, but not here just only to close the door. This is the time when the door said to be open. We'll see to this and what happens. Later on, we open the door. I opened the door, people came and I said, nobody is going inside. You just keep shoving left and right of the gate. And then we closed the door. Then again, I saw after some time, people came with very huge loaded machine gun with chains and everything. And they're shouting, you open the gate and get them outside. The gate is not going to be open. He said, open the gate. But no, negative, no gate will be open. We'll see to this. I'm also here, sitting here only to see you guys. You try some stunt and then you see the music. It was again very pressure point. Order says do this and I'm doing something against opposite.
What was this gate to? I'm a little confused. Was it the UN compound or
Nothing happened. It is me only had to report, but sometimes there are tough calls. It can't happen. You see a small kid, a very old lady and a man with no leg. He's looking for some shelter and you tell him, you bloody fuck off and run from here. Then what kind of soldier you are? It's okay. It is better to take a punishment, but do something and cross that line and do something what your mind and your heart tells you. So that was one experience here. And, poverty, dearth of resources, it actually itself teaches you a lot of things.
So that does remind me of when I was on guard duty at our front gate in Iraq. It was at the Baghdad hospital. We'd sometimes see these poor kids on the street just dirty and hungry, just looking for money or for food. And, we didn't really have anything at the gate there, so we couldn't help them. All we could really do is just wave them off. It was very sad just seeing that and knowing that there was nothing that we could do to help them.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, I mean, I've gotten to know a fair share of all your experiences. This one seems like the most gory and most gruesome, probably.
It was actually bad. Believe me, people were paying in dollars and people were very happy that we are being paid in dollars. I reached a stage where I've taken people, I've seen people drinking in a shitty water, actually shit only, I'm telling you, and eating things in a which actually will definitely guaranteed fall sick. I've seen people killing each other for a bread packet. The orders were once you move outside, you will not give a bottle of water to anyone. You will not give food to anyone. Imagine. Orders. Okay? And I still divide the orders. I always used to carry my own share. I can still have once I go back. So whenever I used to see someone, I used to take any needy something and used to quietly give a bottle or, to them.
So that's good that he did the right thing by actually helping some of those poor people. When I was on my semester at sea, I always had extra snacks in my bag that I got from the ship. And if I did come across someone who was begging for food, I always had something to give them. Whether that was in Brazil, Vietnam, India, South Africa, wherever.
For my own satisfaction, no other reason. But I reached a mental state where I thought, dollars is not important. I don't want any money. All I need to is just go back home. Operations were never demanding, but when you see people suffering, there's a difference between difficult situations, challenges and suffering. What I had seen in operations was a challenge. And challenges are always welcome. It gives you goosebumps. I loved it. But when you see sufferings for no reasons and no fault of theirs, that's painful. Small kids eating boot polish, imagine how you would feel about it. You are having the best of the food inside the wall and people are outside and they're looking, even if you throw shit and we'll eat it. Suffering and challenges are different things. That was not a challenge, that was suffering.
Are you comfortable sharing which year this was in roughly? 2008?
This was absolutely 2007-8. That was the year.
To think of 2008 in the rest of the world, Facebook is coming up.
Yeah.
America is growing. Yeah. Obama is getting elected. There's excesses, there's McDonald's all over the world. And then there's a part of the world just like this.
That is what I'm telling you. Ranveer, there is a lot of difference between real life and real life. Real life and real life are very different things. There was an adventure camp. Can I speak something?
Please, sir.
Yeah. There was an adventure camp where 11th, 12th and big boys, they were coming in army. It was being conducted in Manali. And people expected that since 11th, 12th lot, quite notorious, so you go. I was second in command that time. I had gone there. There was some senior officer's daughter, some general visiting. She said, we want to have Maggie and, Golgappa and all that. I said, my food is already ready, sir, and it'll go waste. And there were a lot of people, they need to do for this. Anyway, it was done. Although not easy to manage for those many Maggies and those fancy items. It was prepared. And next day, I got everyone in the single podium auditorium and I started playing some pictures. I want to show you something. And then I'd shown them pictures where people were drinking cattle urine, yeah. And with small pipes, they were trying to collect one drop of the blood, water.
This is from Sudan?
From Sudan. And there was a point in stage and with some music and some message I had written it, I was showing to those children. They started singing and a few of the girls, they started crying. They said, sir, please stop it. Why should I stop it? You're not ashamed of doing something very funny. I'm showing you the reality. Go through it and look up. I'd shown it to them. A lot of children, they had water in their eyes. Few of them, they cried also. They said, do you know what is this? Then I told them, this is Sudan. They are real photographs, not real photographs. And thereafter, I had shown them other photographs. But this was the food which was prepared yesterday night, which has gone wasted. Because we are sitting at a location there is no one to consume. Food worth so much gone wasted. But then I called that guy who had prepared the food. Please, you tell them what time you wake up in the morning. He said, sir, for 100,000 children, I barely sleep for about 2 hours. I get up at early 3 in the morning so that I can prepare their breakfast. You know any one of you knows his name? You don't even know bloody his name. Okay? You're least interested. As far as you're getting warm food, fancy food, you're okay with it. Where was the requirement? Yesterday, nobody would have died if you were not having Maggie. But you wanted and you had at the cost of wastage of so much of food. And there are people who are actually drinking cattle urine because there is no water. You want to try? Of course you can't because there are better options available with you.
So he makes a very good point. Food waste is a huge problem, but especially for the United States. I don't even want to get onto Google and look up what the average household in the United States actually wastes on food per year, it would be staggering to see those numbers. So that is something that I do realize is a problem, and I am glad that he did bring that up to those children.
But the lesson was driven home. The idea was well received by the kids in the environment. A lot of they got emotional, and a few boys and girls, they came, said, can I hug you? Of course, more the merrier, please.
Can I hug you?
Please, Arey. As such, with this Amazon, we created hitting environment.
In the middle of one of our takes, we lit a candle. It's turned into a military date of sorts.
Military date, yeah.
But go on.
So, Usme, the idea was well received by the kids. And thereafter, it was they started saying thanks to that guy. Got to know more about the guy who used to prepare food with them. They were thankful, and they never wasted food. Today also, when I'm training my kids, I ensure I have meal with them. Not even single piece of food is left in the plate. I ensure this, and they don't leave ever.
I've had a lot of military podcasts.
Hanji.
And I've had a lot of podcasts in general.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite podcasts are the military podcasts because there's real experiences just like this. You've had one of like the wildest life experiences, at least that I've encountered on the show. As we were talking, I was like noticing, your emotional state as well. And I noticed that there is a lot of memories that are still alive. Maybe some of which are not voluntarily there inside your mind, in terms of maybe it's things you're trying to get out, but they're just not going out. I don't know. It's just what I sensed. I do feel like there are memories very much alive in you.
Firstly, anything which is not positive, ऐसा कुछ रहा ही नहीं life में. There is nothing which I carry in mind. This is one good thing I consider about myself. I take things as they come.
Okay.
Everything is momentary. Some action happened. It was there only. I left it. I kept only the good things and the lesson which I can pass on to someone.
Colonel Rajeev, this is never going to get over this podcast if we keep talking. We actually have to move into a Hindi conversation as well. I feel you've got that width of experiences and know-how when it comes to the military life. As with every military episode, firstly, I salute you, sir. Thank you for the service.
Also.
Thank you for your service to the nation.
Thank you so much.
On behalf of the youth, trust me, people have just begun to understand more about the military and the contributions of people like yourself. So please be on more podcasts online. So I feel like these stories and experiences need to be out there. That's one request. Secondly, this is so heavy an episode for me. It's going to take me time to just absorb all of it. And I'm saying this to you because I really appreciate that.
Thank you so very much. But Ranveer, through you and your team, one last statement I would like to say. There are thousands of aspirants, defense aspirants, now every year who want to join forces. But because they could not clear through some stage or the medical issue or something, they have not been able to make it. And they lose their heart. Only one message for them is, it's not about uniform. I can understand that craze. I also was youngster sometime. I am still young, But, it's not about uniform. It is that attitude that you carry. You don't require a uniform to actually do good something for your nation. As a citizen, as a student, in whatever capacity, wherever you are, I always feel a soldier is by heart, not by uniform. I have seen many of them in uniform, not worth being this old. At least few of them. And I have seen many of them who had never donned a uniform, but they are amazing. They carry that attitude. So it is all by heart. Don't lose heart and be a soldier. It's all by the heart, not by uniform.
I agree with what he said 100%. I know that it can be people's lifelong dreams to join the military. I know it was for me, and I was lucky enough to be accepted into the Army, and that was a great honor. And for those of you who were denied entrance into the military for whatever reason, please don't lose heart. Understand that, as he just said, there are more ways of serving your country than just the military. It's all about the heart, not the uniform.
So that's 100%. More on a Hindi episode. That's what I will say. Just thank you for doing this particular episode.
Thanks to you.
Seriously,
thank you, brother.
This was something else. This has been one of my most memorable shoot days, and I mean that.
Thanks. I enjoyed. I enjoyed with you. I felt absolutely at home here.
Yeah.
तूने जो पूछा मेरे whatever came to my mind and I fell from here and I just said it.
Thank you, sir. Lots more episodes in you that we need to extract.
Anytime, at your disposal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, dear. God bless.
So that was another great podcast. I really hope that he comes back and does future podcasts with Ranveer, because I really enjoyed hearing all the stories. And I can relate to what he was saying about memories. I'm lucky enough not to be suffering with PTSD, but I do have a lot of sad and upsetting memories from my time in Iraq. And one day I will actually go ahead and do a story time on some of those experiences over on my military channel. And I'll keep you guys posted to when I do that. But thank you guys for sticking around and watching this podcast with me. If you did enjoy it, please smash that like button. If you want to watch more Beer Biceps podcasts, I have one for you right here.